what happened was, I got into some truther things, so I see the world a lot darker than most of you. But when you become a truther, you think, oh my God, this is horrible. But it's that meme where the astronaut said always has been, and you get to that point with it.
But
Right.
just for clarification for some in the audience, because last time you used the word truther, I didn't understand what it means.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think it's something like conspiracy theorist.
Well, like like Building 7. People who know what Building 7 means. It's people that believe that in things like the deep state and global government through suspicious networks involving children and such. It's the people who believe that the world is a lot darker than most in the comfortable West accept.
But many of those theories about the dark truth behind it all are bullshit, right? The conspiracy theories, or they're like hard to prove, I guess. There's patterns which make it look like it's real, but then there's also like, you know, like someone on my Discord channel is posting that Donald Trump is the Jewish Messiah, you know? And I'm like, oh.
He might be. We don't know.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But I wouldn't bet my life on it, you know. Like I wouldn't embrace it as a canonical truth.
But think about like attention and energy and spells. A lot of it is that, and misinformation. And it's like the war is for people's minds. And if we have you running off chasing this theory or that theory, I'm just defining truthers as people who like discover how bad it is, how much they're being manipulated, and have the crazy notion that if more people realized how bad they were being manipulated, things would change. And then you realize that everybody already knows how bad it is, and you were just naive. And the people who want to remain naive are doing so willfully. And I don't know, but like that's what a truther is. It's somebody who thinks they can make a difference by showing you how bad it is.
Yeah, and I think it makes perfect sense in this moment of time because most of our institutions are failing, falling apart. They're all either politically or financially
being actively dismantled,
hijacked
by forces.
Yeah, what those forces are, if it's just incompetence, you know, or you know, technological acceleration, information overload, or
I start from global population management. I mean, there's a lot to it, so I try not to get swept up into it. Like, I got to remember that the left and right are wings of the same bird. It's like taking it back to kayfabe in professional wrestling. Like the wrestling, they put archetypes and they make them wrestle in front of people, and everybody kind of the outcomes are possibly scripted, I'm sure. But the thing is, people divide into I'm there to see this guy or I'm there to see that guy. You want to be right wing, you want to be left wing. You're still participating in that system. So
yeah,
I mean, I live better than most kings did
100 years ago. Exactly.
I have a toilet. I have a hot shower. I have a bed to sleep in.
Yeah, as a part of it is the hedonistic treadmill or whatever that's called.
They've made us quite comfortable. We love our leashes, as it were. Do you remember the story of the elephant? Like, they had some elephant and he was just held by a tiny little rope. The elephant could just like shrug his shoulder and snap the rope, piece of cake. And some other guy walks by and says, how'd you manage that? The elephant could obviously just break that rope and walk off. And it was like, well, we tied him with a chain when he was a little kid, you know, and he grew up with it. So like mentally it holds him. And I think it's that way with the leashes now. And the leashes, I mean cell phones. People are getting those before they're 4. Like, they're not going to know life without a leash anymore. And so it's those of us who know what life without a leash is like have to be the ones that help preserve its value somehow.
I'm always like, what's the value of online philosophy? In my case, I've also asked myself that question. So it was also like part of self-criticism where I was like, what's the point? Like, there's all these channels and they're all explaining the world to people. But when you mentioned care, you want people to care. It's like, yeah. But what does care mean? Care means action. You know, for me to care about my son is to actually That's action. That's embodied behavior, you know? My disgruntlement with philosophy on YouTube is that ultimately they're also just selling you books or events. In some sense, if you want to be an actual believer, like to embody that belief is to embody the action which comes with it. You know what I mean?
Are you saying instead of writing the story, go build something? If you actually want to be like Elon Musk?
Yeah, something like that. And that has to do with the virtualization. And you're trying to counter that, I think, with the real world meetings and networking and community building. But
what YouTube wants is individual people watching, scrolling, commenting by themselves. And so they're not going to provide us like channel networking together tools, I don't suspect.
I mean, I can put your channel on my channel's main site as an associated or featured channel, but we can create like something like a joint funnel, a sort of channel network space or something. The fact that you can't really do that, from my perspective, what the YouTube thing does is that we act virtually without having a real impact, you know? Like we're connecting, like there's these people connecting and podcasting and exchanging information and all of that. And this is how the future should look like. But in order to actually make that happen, to bring it about, to realize it in the physical world, is to either form some sort of political or business relationship, I think.
Other people can upvote them with the 7 indigo die, and that's all I have for how to organize information processing online through communities. But I think it's a fractal of the way the brain neurons work. And if we build it out, what do they call it, biosemiotically, if we organize our online communities biosemiotically, that they should function like the global brain we have the potential for. And we're aiming for closer human connection again. Something that seems to be getting lost in the fire of the digital age.
Yeah.
The acceptance of chemically interfering with our own function is interesting.